Hello there, welcome, and today we are going to learn how to carry out a man-in-the-middle attack. But before I move on, if you know you are just joining me right now, please do well to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like, share and comment on my videos. And lastly, turn on the notification bell so that you don't get to miss any of my videos. Okay, so before I teach you how to carry out a man-in-the-middle attack, you need to understand a protocol known as the ARP. Now, ARP stands for Address Resolution Protocol. ARP is a network protocol that makes use of a computer's IP address to identify its MAC address. In other words, ARP is used to resolve IP addresses to MAC addresses within a computer network. We also have the ARP cache or the ARP table. ARP makes use of an ARP cache to store its data. These data are IP addresses to MAC addresses mappings. Therefore, an ARP cache keeps a list of IP addresses to their matching MAC addresses. Every computer or host or machine present in a network then maintain this ARP cache. Now, this ARP cache, like it is said here, contains the IP addresses to MAC addresses mappings of the host present in a particular network. Like we have here the IP address 172.20.1.22 with its matching MAC address here 0856 AC 447609. Okay, so now let's see how the address resolution protocol is used by host in a particular network. Okay, let's say this particular machine here wants to send a message to this machine over here. Now, this machine here knows only the IP address of this particular machine here. Now, how will this machine here communicate with this machine here? This machine here will carry out a method known as the address resolution protocol request message. Now, it will broadcast this message to every host present in this network here, requesting for the MAC address of the owner of that IP address. Now, that message contains the target IP address. That is this machine here. This machine IP address is contained in that message. Now, when this machine here broadcasts that message to all the hosts present in this network, the message will get to this one here. This one will compare the IP address present in the message with its own IP address. If there is no match, it will forward it. It will say, this is not me. Then it will forward it to the next host in line. This one here will also compare the IP address present in the message. It will see that the IP address is not its own IP address. It will now forward the message to this one here. Then this one here will also compare the IP address, and it will see that the message is not meant for it. So it will now forward it to this one here. This one here will receive the message and compare the IP address present in the message with its own IP address. Then it will now discover that, oh, this message is for me. Now, what this machine here will do is to report to this machine here, and that report will contain its IP address with that of the MAC address also. That is, the IP address and the MAC address of this machine will be sent by this machine here to this machine here. Now, this machine here will create a new entry in its ARP cache or ARP table containing the IP address of that machine and also the MAC address of that machine. Now, when next this machine wants to communicate with this machine here will not carry out the process of broadcasting the ARP request message to all the hosts here again. Do you know why? Because it already has the IP address and the MAC address of this machine here, so it will just go ahead to send that message straight to this machine here, and this machine will also send its reply to this machine here straight. So to recap, when this machine wants to communicate with this machine, it sends and it broadcasts an ARP request message. Now, when this one wants to reply this machine here, it will send an ARP reply message telling this machine that, oh, this is my IP address and this is my MAC address. Okay, so now let's go into the main work of today, so which is the man-in-the-middle attack. Now, a man-in-the-middle attack is a process whereby a hacker sits in between the communication channel of two hosts in a network, intercepting the communication and also seeing what the two hosts are exchanging between themselves. Okay, take for instance, whenever a computer is connected to a network, now there will be series of network packet or information be sent back and forth between hosts in a network. Now this information or these packets might contain sensitive information like password, username, and other critical information. Now how can a hacker or a penetration tester retrieve this information? That is when the man in the middle attack come into play. Okay, so for this we are going to be making use of 3 machines. Now the Kali Linux here will serve as the attacker's machine, while the Windows 10 Enterprise here will serve as the victim, and also the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine will also serve as the victim. Now for this, to carry out this attack, we are going to be making use of the intercept tool present in Kali Linux. So we are going to be attacking these 2 machines here. Okay, before I move on, the intercept tool poisons the app cache or app table of these 2 machines here. Now whenever we execute that intercept tool here, what it will do is to poison the app table or app cache of these 2 machines here, giving them incorrect entries. Okay, so now what it will do is this: it will replace the MAC address of this Windows 10 Enterprise with that of the attacker's machine. That means here will no longer be 080043AB 3358. It will now be 0802740 2D87, and also that of the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine will no longer be 080027D30CAE. It will now be the MAC address of the attacker's machine, that is 0802740 2D87. So the intercept tool poisons the app cache or app table of its victims, that is these 2 machines here. Now whenever this machine here, the Windows 10 Enterprise, wants to communicate with this machine here, the communication part will be directed to the attacker's machine. Then the attacker's machine will now relay the information to the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine. Also, if this machine here wants to communicate with this Windows 10 here, it will pass the information to the attacker's machine, and the attacker will now relay the information to the Windows 10 machine. Now while the communication will be going on, these 2 machines will not know that there is a man sitting in between the communication pathway between them. So because the attacker will intercept this information and also relay it to this one here, and it will also intercept the information from this one and also relay it to this one here, they will not know that there is someone sitting in between their communication, listening to every packet, every data, every information being sent from this Windows 10 to the OWASP BWA, and also from this OWASP BWA to this Windows 10 machine. Okay, so let's go on with the practical. Okay, to begin with the man in the middle attack, I have my Kali Linux over here, and also I have my Windows 10 Enterprise. I also have my OWASP BWA vulnerable machine here. So before we carry out the attack, we need to know the IP address of the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine, and also that of the Alice PC, which is the Windows 10 Enterprise, and also that of the Kali Linux. Okay, so let's start with that of the Windows 10 Enterprise. So I'm going to make use of the command ipconfig. So ipconfig here to show us the IP address. Okay, so this is the IP address of the Windows 10 Enterprise 172.30.1.25, and also to also discover the IP address of the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine, we use the command ipconfig. Okay, here we have the IP address as 172.30.1.22, right? Okay, so before the attack takes place, let's look at the app cache or the app table of the Windows 10 Enterprise machine. Okay, over here you see that the Windows 10 machine does not have the IP address and the MAC address mapping of the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine, right? Okay, that is because the Windows 10 Enterprise has not resolved the IP address to MAC address of the OWASP BWA machine. So now let's connect to that machine. Let's connect to the OWASP VWA machine. Okay, HTTP 172.30.1.22, right? So we hit enter. Okay, so over here we have this home page here for the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine. So now since we have it now let's check the app table of the Windows 10 Enterprise to see if it now has the IP address to MAC address mapping of the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine. For that, we are going to make use of this command app-a to display the content of the app cache. Okay, so now we now have the IP address of the machine and its MAC address here. We see it here 172.30.1.22, right? Okay, so now that we have this data, you will see that after performing the man-in-the-middle attack using the Kali Linux machine, this MAC address here for the OWASP BWA vulnerable machine, the MAC address will now be poisoned and replaced with that of the attacker's machine. Okay, so let's carry that out. So we are going to use the Kali Linux machine to carry out this task. Okay, so for that I'm going to log in. Okay, now we're going to make use of the etacap tool. So we are going to select the interface, which is interface 1. On your own computer, you can use the ifconfig command to locate the particular interface of your machine. So my ETH1, which is the second interface, is the one that has the 172.30.1.23 IP address. Okay, so for that we use that. Then we use we need test mode, not graphic mode. Then we need it to be quiet. Then since we are not performing any SSL certificate, that is, we are not making use of the of any certificate, since this is just HTTP, so we are going to use the -s option. Then the -m option here for to perform an app poisoning attack. So we are going to use this pattern here to create to identify the IP address. So the IP address for the Windows 10 machine is 172.30.1.25, and that for the, how do they call it, for the OWASP BWA machine is 172.30.1.22, right? Okay, so hit enter. Okay, so I think I need to use sudo for this command to work properly. So sudo etacap, put in my password. Okay, so the attack is now successful. So to know if it was successful, let's use this ifconfig command here to display my MAC address for this interface 1 here. We have the MAC address here. This is the IP address, this is the MAC address here. Where is the MAC address? Okay, this is the MAC address here. We have it as 08002740 right? Okay, so now let's go back to our Windows 10 Enterprise. When we go to our Windows 10 Enterprise, let's confirm to know if the app cache of this Windows 10 has been poisoned. So let's use this command. Okay, so now remember the IP address of our Kali Linux machine, right? It ended with how do they call it? Ended with 2D87, right? 2D87. You can see it over here, 2D87, 40 2D87, right? Okay, so you will now see that the app cache for the Windows 10 Enterprise and that of the OWASP BWA machine have been poisoned. Now here we have 172.30.1.22. You see it now carries the MAC address of the attacker's machine, which is the Kali Linux, right? 2D87. Now, can you see any difference here? We have the original MAC address of this machine here, 172.30.1.22, as what ending with AE, that is 0C AE, but here is now ending with 2D87. That means our attack was what, successful. Okay, so now for us now to intercept the communication traffic, let's say we want to capture the password and username of this machine here. What we are going to do is to okay, let's make use of this damn vulnerable web application machine. So we are going to supply the username and the password, which is admin, and also here admin. So let's log in. Okay, so we are now in, right? Okay, so now let's go back to our Kali Linux to see if it captured anything. Let's see if it captured anything. Okay, so let's come here. Okay, you see that it captures the it captured the data, right? User admin and the what, password admin. You can see it here, password admin, and also what, user admin. You see that this is the OWASP-BWA vulnerable machine. So this is the password for it, and then this is the username for it, and this is the password for it. So you can see the HTTP header here, the content value. You see that the username is admin, and then the password is also admin. So this is how to intercept and capture username and password between two hosts communicating. Okay, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't get to miss any of my videos. Okay, so but before I go on, if you don't understand much about computer networking, I have a book on Amazon titled Cybersecurity Bible. So this teaches you everything you need to know as a beginner about computer networking, Linux, and cybersecurity essentials. So you can check the link below in the description to get your own copy now. Thank you once again for watching, and I really appreciate it. Bye. See you next time.